You have to stop doing these 7 things if you want to get rich. Because success is not about what you need to do to get rich. A lot of the times, it's about what you need to stop doing. People ask me, Brandon, how'd you get so much goddamn money? What did you do? And it's like, man, it's what I don't do. And here are things that you need to stop doing effective immediately if you are serious about wealth creation. Now, the first thing you need to do if you want to really start making a bunch of money is you have to stop chasing hoes. It sounds like I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. I'm serious as a heart attack. When I was real young, I heard professional rapper, fashion designer, and full-time crazy person Kanye West saying, I don't know what's better, getting laid or getting paid. But when I'm getting one, the other's getting away. And I didn't understand the gravity of that statement until I got older. And I was trying to do both simultaneously. And I ended up with neither. I got a little bit older and I heard 50 Cent say on his sophomore album, The Massacre, on a track called Rider Music, at exactly 2 minute and 30 second mark, Curtis Jackson says, stupid, you hustling backwards if you chasing a bitch. Chase the money, they come with the shit. And I was like, that's better than what Kanye West crazy ass was saying. 50 was saying, if you get one, you get the other. And that made itself way more obvious to me as I aged. If you're young and beautiful, chicks will fuck you just because you pretty or something, right? But remember, when you're chasing one, the other's getting away. That's what Kanye said. So I see a lot of guys in their youth, dudes is out here looks maxing to get the huzz. But you need to be money maxing. Because all women, not just gold diggers, would prefer a man with some fucking money, including your mama. Go ask your mama right now. If dad had a twin brother when y'all met, exactly the same looks and personality, they both like you, but one of them was a multi-millionaire, which one would you pick, mama? This bitch got any goddamn sense, she would pick the multi-millionaire. If they're exactly the same, that don't make her a gold digger, that just make her a rational human being. So here's the thing, if you have money though, if you're successful, women chase you. Some people are still concerned about the gold diggers, but here's the thing. Gold diggers are women who only want a man for his money. The way to combat that is to be a man that women won't only want for their money. And that's really building not only your money, but also getting in great shape and being a man of character, right? Build money, muscle, mindset. That's what we talk about here. The motherfuckers who have to worry about gold diggers is the fat guy in the Porsche, the old fat guy on the yacht. But if you are an attractive guy physically because you've been working on your muscle, you not fucking fat, you in great shape. If you a guy that she would fuck anyway, focus on the money, not the women. Focusing on women will stop you from accomplishing the goal. The real shit they say to me, Brandon, how'd you rizz up your girl? I'm 6'2", single digit body fat, multi-millionaire. Fuck me. Pickup lines. So if you don't have the money, you have to waste a bunch of energy that could be deployed against acquisition of capital. Here's the thing. So some guys are attractive, pause. Attractive, some guys are ugly. Some guys are broke, some guys are balling. All right, so if you are ugly, but you're balling, then you, my friend, are a sugar daddy. That is the only kind of relationship you can have with the huzz. That's it. If you are ugly and broke, the kind of relationship you have with women is nothing, nigga. Nothing. There is nothing for you. They don't even see you. You know, you are what they are talking about when they say there's no guys around. There's no guys who are available. They say all the guys in Miami, all they care about is money and they have a bunch of girls. And I'm like, no, what about this janitor doesn't? The nigga who's cleaning the table right now don't. So when they say all the guys, that means these broke, ugly guys, they didn't even recognize them as humans. Now, if you are broke and attractive, like you just been out here looks maxing, your relationship with women is they are a distraction, right? Because now this guy still has to try. He has to put a bunch of effort into his looks. He's got to have a bunch of shit going on to get the girls. That's mental energy he could be deploying against his goals. Now, here's the thing. If you are attractive and balling, then your relationship with girls is whatever you want. There's not a lot of these motherfuckers on Earth. Less than 1% of the population of Earth are pro athletes, right? So there's not a lot of them. Your job, my friend, is to be this nigga. And attractive, again, like we all can't look like motherfucking some pretty nigga, right? But you can all get in better shape. You can all lose fat. You can all be presentable, like you got some goddamn sense. Take care of your hygiene. And that's enough, right? When I say attractive, I ain't saying you got to be a motherfucking male model like I was in my 20s. I was a fitness model with one of the top modeling agencies in New York. I was 24 and I was on buses, billboards. I had a big billboard with my face on it, no bullshit, on 125th and Broadway. I wasn't rich though, like that shit, chicks was a distraction. But you want to get here, right? Then the first thing you got to do is stop chasing hoes, man. The next thing you got to stop doing to get rich is you got to stop living every day on autopilot. And if you've been watching any of my material for any amount of time, you know I'm about to give you my cheat code in life. Plan out every hour of every day. If you do this, what's going to happen is you're going to get way more done in each day. I use Google Calendar, right? And I suggest you go out, use it too. This is my calendar, this is a month. Every hour of every day is accounted for. No white space in the calendar. If you do this for 1 week, just try for 1 week. Plan out every hour of every day, structure it. What's gonna happen is you're gonna get so much more done in that week than maybe the whole month prior to that. You do that 4 weeks in a row, now you had the most productive month of your life. You do that for 12 months in your life, oh man, like your whole life can change. Your whole life can change in a year if you do this. Everybody I know who's done this, their productivity levels skyrocketed. What you're gonna do is first you're gonna put in your recurring task, when you're gonna sleep and when you're gonna wake up. Structure it, and that shit shouldn't be random. That shit needs to be choreographed. I mean, you can move things around if, you know, circumstances change, right? But you want to have at least a game plan. Then you put your workouts in there. When you're going to work out, make it the same time every day, man. Make it a routine. Right? People will be like, oh man, I don't have time to work out. Now you got time, man. There's 168 hours in every week. You just not structuring it, and you're going to get so much more done because now you on the clock. When you start doing this, man, you actually start enjoying your days more. Because here's the thing, man. I had a job for a moving company. When I first started the job, I was like, oh man, this just sucks. And I was trying to do as little as possible. But then I changed my mindset and I started to take pride in what I do. I was like, oh man, these people are trusting me to put everything in they own in a fucking van or a truck and put it in their new home where they're gonna start their new family. I was like, okay, this is an important job, and I started treating it like that. So I was trying to do the best I can do and started going as hard as possible. And then what happened was I started to enjoy the job more because I was working hard the whole time. That's what's gonna happen to your days. You're gonna enjoy the days more. It sounds like it's more hard work, but you're gonna enjoy it more because now you're busy. If you got recreation and shit, put that in the calendar. Put everything that's important in the calendar and you're just gonna get so much more done. Look, nigga, you're gonna get way more done. You're gonna enjoy it more. And then also, people say, man, do I gotta sacrifice work? Do I gotta sacrifice this, sacrifice that in order to accomplish my goals? You might have to sacrifice some things. When I was working 4 jobs at once, working 12, 14-hour days, I was still getting shit done. So I still found time to kick it with some family, friends. It wasn't as much as before, but I planned it. I structured it, right? So I got way more done. I promise you, if you do this for just 90 days, your whole life will change, right? And you'll make way more progress. The next thing you need to stop doing if you want to get rich is you got to quit hanging out with losers. So there was a study that was done not long ago where it showed that the #1 predictor of financial success was having rich friends. This is social capital, the measurement of association and economic mobility. This was published in 2022, but you can read this shit on your own. Then they had a follow-up study where they talked about it again. Social capital part 2, determinants of economic connectiveness. The reason this happens is because you become like the people you're around. So if you hang out with somebody enough, you're going to start picking up on their habits. You're going to pick up on each other's habits. If you make friends with people who are balling, who are getting money, right? They probably have some habits. You would start to get similar results. And all this stuff happens involuntarily. If you were born thousands of years ago in a different place, you'd be worshiping a different god, right? If you were born in ancient Egypt, you'd be worshiping Ra, the sun god. It's all about the people you're around. They have a huge amount of influence on you. But also what happens is you get access to different opportunities that you might not have known about. Like I didn't know about Section 8 real estate till I became friends with the homie Tom. Now I got Section 8 rental properties. My boy Jeremy, he got some different ways that he makes money, runs Facebook ads for people. He taught me so much about Facebook and Instagram ads, and I've made like millions of dollars. Like Jeremy and I, we were courtside, and he was telling me about some stuff that was working for his clients, and I just went and implemented that, and I started making more money. If you hanging around broke niggas, they got broke nigga habits. They're doing broke nigga shit right now. They playing Call of Warcraft, they smoking the Zaza, getting high, trying to rizz up the thoughts, chasing bitches instead of getting to the bed. And you're going to be influenced by that because you're influenced by the people around you, whether you want to or not. For example, here's a study. This is the New England Journal of Medicine. This is a 32-year study. What it showed was if one of your friends becomes obese, then you have a 40% chance of becoming obese yourself. You tried to change something, maybe you tried to stop drinking, and your friends would be like, oh, just have one drink. You can have one drink. You're on a diet, and they be like, ah, man, it's okay. Everything in moderation. And they try to give you some motherfucking candy or some cake. You have to cut that out. And the study also said, if your friends get fat, you start to get fat. Let's say Nima has a friend, a boy named Raheem. I don't know Raheem. And Raheem got a friend named Daquan. If Daquan becomes obese, I still have a 10% chance of becoming fat. So what you think happens when your friend gets broke? What you think happens when your friend starts losing, taking L's? And that's another reason why we got to bring it back to not chasing hoes, because everybody knows you become like the people you're around. But for whatever reason, a lot of guys don't take that into account when it comes to the women they surround themselves with. If you got a roster of fucking girls, what do you think the chances are that at least one of them is fucked up in the head? And she's probably got a lot of drama in her life, and you're gonna get sucked into that drama. And then you started noticing that shit in your life too. All this motherfucking trying to be a playboy shit is detrimental to success, man. The next thing you need to stop doing if you want to get rich is you got to stop buying things that don't increase in value over time, right? What we want to do is we want to start buying assets as opposed to liabilities. A dumb motherfucker who will make a bunch of money and they'll immediately start buying in watches and shit and drip. What you want to do is you want to invest in assets that actually produce assets, and then you use the money from the assets to buy luxuries. So all my watches, jewelry, all that shit was bought from the assets, but I spent the money I made working on assets, stocks, real estate, other businesses. And then the money that those assets produce, that's what I used on the drip and shit. That's how you ball. That's why if you watch my videos from like 10 years ago, I didn't have no drip, no jewelry, right? I was working out, no shirt on, Apple Watch. Maybe the drippiest shit I had was some black Jordans or something. And that's it. I spent my money on assets. I kept investing in the business. I kept investing in the stock market, real estate. And it wasn't until the money from those assets started making enough that I had a surplus to start spending money on drip. You get what I'm saying? Start spending money on floss and flexing. I was a millionaire living in Queens in that small apartment because I kept investing in money. Then I moved to a penthouse here in Miami, Florida. That money came from assets that I built up over time. That way, if like, God forbid, my business goes to shit or something goes wrong or I can't work, I can't grind, the money from the assets still produces. Or shit hits the fan, the money from the assets keeps going. The next thing you need to stop doing if you want to be rich is you have to stop quitting, meaning you have to be consistent. People always ask me, how do you become so consistent, man? I see you all the time. You're always consistent over the decades. And the reason I'm consistent is because I'm not easy on myself. Like, you guys are too easy on yourself. You'll work hard for a week or a month and you'll be like, oh man, I can rest now, I can chill. But the problem with that is be following your diet. You'll be like, oh man, I can take off today or I can take off next day. And what happens is it becomes easier for you to quit because you're building the habit of quitting. When you stop doing something, you're not treating yourself. What you're doing is you're quitting for a brief period of time and with the plan of going back. For example, let's use diet as an example. If you say you're gonna, I can have a cheat day or a cheat week, or I'm just gonna go off my diet on vacation and I'll get back on it when I come back. It's like you're not treating yourself. You're quitting momentarily with the intentions of restarting again. The problem is starting is the hardest part. You lose the momentum you had. And when you take breaks, when you chill, when you stop doing what you're supposed to be doing, even you have to restart again, which means you have to do the most difficult part again. And you guys have all been there, man. You said if you were on a diet plan, you didn't quit one day. The next thing you know, you take it, I have a cheat day on Saturday. Then that shit turned into, yo, man, I eat whatever I want on the weekends. That's how it happens. Like, this, the first step is the worst step when you start making moves in that direction. But if you just stay consistent, it's actually easier because you don't have to start again. We're gonna use diet as an example, right? Because I've been a trainer for so long, it's easier for me to demonstrate. I haven't had a cheat day in like 2 years. That's easier than when I used to have cheat meals. Because I remember I used to have cheat days. I had some old videos on it, right? And they were like epic cheat days. But what happened was on Monday, it would be harder to stick to my diet than it was on Friday, right? Because now the cheat day, it induced cravings. Now I'm fighting cravings the first half of the week. Then what happens is after a while of abstinence, the cravings go away. But then I reintroduce the cravings again when I take the cheat day. I'm in this loop where I'm always fighting cravings. But when I stopped doing cheat days and stopped doing cheat meals, the cravings went away. Now I have no desire for that shit. It's not even just food. That was just an example. Even when it comes to drinking, I quit drinking over 10 years ago, but I have no desire because I just quit. Abstinence is easier than moderation. Moderation induces cravings. So now you're using more discipline than you need to because you're always fighting cravings. After prolonged abstinence, the cravings go away. So it's the same thing with your financial goals. If you just focus every day and you work in every day, it becomes second nature. It's like normal. You gotta force little kids to bathe and brush their teeth and shit, you know, but it becomes second nature after a while. Same thing with going after your goals, working hard on your goals every day, right? If you just keep doing it, it becomes second nature, and you'll get to the point where it'd be weird for you to stop. So that's how you can really get consistent. The next thing you need to stop doing to get rich, you gotta learn to control your mind. And the easiest way I found to do this is with meditation. This meditation, man. For example, so here's a study that showed that just after 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation, the participants' amygdala started to shrink, right? Now the amygdala is the part of your brain that controls fear and anxiety and makes you a motherfucking spaz. Just 8 weeks of meditation, that part of your brain starts to shrink, meaning you aren't as much of a spaz anymore. But also, another study showed that just after a few weeks of meditation, participants had the part of their brain called the neocortex had more density. The neocortex is responsible for logic. Humans, we have a bigger neocortex than the majority of the wild animals. That's why we can do things like build buildings, create languages, make YouTube videos. So here's the thing. If you meditate, your amygdala starts to shrink. That's the part of your brain that causes you to spaz out. And your neocortex becomes more dense. That's the part of your brain that's responsible for logic. You'll be way more in control of your emotions. And if you can control your emotions, then you can make better decisions. You don't feel like working. You're scared to start that business. You're scared to make that investment in yourself. And you let fear keep you in bondage. But if you actually changed your brain with meditation, then what happens is you're going to be less fearful and more logical. Now you can look at the situation from a clearer vantage point. Man, I'm scared to start this thing. I'm scared to go after my goals. What if it doesn't work? And when they start saying shit like that, like, oh, this motherfucker don't meditate, right? Because his amygdala is making his decisions. But that's another reason why you have to stop hanging around with losers, because losers think like that, right? But all the rich people I know, they think more confidently. They think about in terms of what can go right as opposed to what go wrong. And emotions are contagious, right? Emotions are contagious. So here's a study that kind of just showed that emotions are contagious. Like we had these things called mirror neurons, which if you see somebody going through an emotion or you're around somebody who's having emotion, you start to feel it a little bit too. Whether you're around them or if you're just looking at them, you start to feel some of their emotions. This is why you guys like porn so much, because you feel those emotions. It's the mirror neurons, right? But if you're around people who are confident, going after their goals, accomplishing, then you start feeling more confident as well, right? Emotions are like really contagious. If you got broke ass friends, they're gonna start thinking broke ass thoughts, fear, scare, doubt. The next thing you need to stop doing if you want to get rich is not tracking your goals and habits. If you stop doing these things, you will be well on the path to accomplishing your goals. Now, I have another video that's going to show you how to actually plan out your goals so you're in better position to hit them and accomplish it. Go check out that video right now.